tabletop position, your towel here if you need it. Your alignment, wrist, elbow, shoulder, knee and hip. Space between your knees is hip width, so if you want to check, you just place two fists next to each other. That's more or less the right distance. Roll the shoulders back, engage the toes. Keep the core nice and tight, supporting your lower back. Inhale. Exhale, extend the right leg and the left arm. Inhale, bring back to the mat. Exhale, left arm, leg rather, right arm alongside the ear. Flexing that foot strongly. Don't let that hip come up. Keep it level with the mat. Exhale, back down to the mat. Right leg, left arm. Breathe. Exhaling down to the mat. Inhaling, left arm. Leg rather, right arm. Back to the mat. Right leg, left arm. These are a series of bird dog poses. Return to the mat and left leg, right arm. Bring those shoulders back and down. And bring back to the mat, taking a few breaths. Now you're going to extend your right leg straight behind you. Flex that foot strongly. Focus on keeping this pelvis level with the mat. So you're not lifting up. And this leg is really, really active. It's really working quite strongly. So your core is having to work in order to stabilize the body and keep it all nice and square. And this right glute is having to work to keep that leg up. You want your core really nice and tight. So you're looking after the lower back as well. And we don't want that leg coming up too high. So we don't want to put too much strain here on the lower spine. Breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Bring that leg back to the mat. Nice deep breath in. Exhale. Now extend the left leg. Again, strong flexion through the foot. Straight line out from the hip to the heel. So we're not bringing it up too high. We're not sinking down with the stomach. We're holding that belly, drawing it back towards the spine, supporting ourselves. Shoulders roll back. Breathe. Inhaling back to the mat. Take a few breaths. Inhale. Exhale, extend the right leg again. This time I want you to rotate that entire leg in its socket. So rotating from the hip. Okay, so your foot is at about, let's say, a 45-degree angle, still strongly flexed. Make sure you're not lifting up through that right hip. Breathing, shoulders away from the ears. Core nice and tight. Looking after that lower back. You should feel that glute starting to work now. To keep that leg up there. Breathing. Breathing. Inhale. Exhale, bring that right knee back to the mat. Breathe. Inhaling, extending that left leg. Rotate that left leg through the socket, through the hip joint. So your foot's about a 45-degree angle. Make sure that left glute is really engaged, so squeezing. Holding that leg up, core engaged, belly button drawn back towards the spine, looking after your back. Breathe. Feel that glute working, very nice. Inhale, bring that leg back to the mat. Take a few breaths. So inhale, exhale, extend that right leg. This time I want you to lift it a little bit higher, but only about an inch. So it's a tiny movement, but it makes a big difference. And rotate that leg. Breathe. So the effort of maintaining this pose and holding it still, this sort of static hold, you are creating this isometric contraction. So your muscles aren't changing in length, but they are contracting, stabilizing, holding. You're working. Breathe. Make sure that right hip is not starting to poke up. Rotate the leg back. Exhale, bring back to the mat. Inhale. Exhale, extend the left leg. Again, extend the left leg. Bring it up a little bit higher. Rotate it. So when you rotate your leg, and I want you to now bring up your entire pelvis, you are just rotating that femur in its socket. Breathe. Hold that belly button nice and tight to the spine. Don't sink down on this right hip. Hold yourself up nice and strong. Breathe. Inhale, rotate that leg back. Exhale, knee to the mat. Take a few breaths. Lovely. Navel drawn back towards the spine. If your wrists are getting a little bit tired for your next movement, you can actually come up onto your knuckles if you like. Again, stack these joints, no rolling of the joints. So you make a fist, roll those shoulders back. Inhale. Exhale, keeping your right leg bent. Let's bring it up. So your knees are 90-degree angle. Again, trying to keep that pelvis parallel with the ground. Strong flexion through the foot. And just begin drawing some circles with your right knee. So imagine your knee is drawing a circle on a piece of paper. It's not a very big movement. It's a small movement. We are just moving that femur in nice small circles, really targeting those glute muscles. Okay, stabilizing through the abdominal muscles. And reverse direction. Inhale. Exhale, bring that leg down to the mat. You can sit back and shake up out your wrists if you like. They're getting a little bit tired. And then come back down. If you're happy to stay up on your knuckles, do so. If you'd like to come back onto the palms, do so. It's entirely up to you. Listen to your body. Inhale. Exhale, bring that left leg up now off the mat. Again, keeping it bent, keeping that foot flexed really strongly, supporting and holding tight through the core. This is extremely important to create the stability and the safety of the torso. And start drawing those circles with the left knee. Small movements, controlled. All of this entire movement is controlled by the glute muscles. We're stabilizing with the abdominal muscle and we are creating movement with the glutes. And change direction. Don't forget to breathe. Don't forget to keep that core tight. Look after that lower back. We don't want that belly button sinking down towards the mat. We want it pulling up towards the spine, creating stability, creating safety. And come to stop. Inhale. Exhale. Bring that left leg down to the mat. Roll those shoulders back. If you like, you can release the toes, open your knees slightly, and just sit back into child's pose. Rest the forehead on the mat, and bring the arms to the side. And just feel a little bit of a stretch here through the glutes. Relaxing those shoulders and letting the wrists just relax. Grounding, reconnecting with the breath. Good. And then when you're ready, bring those hands forward. Come back onto the knees, engage the toes. Let's move those hands, one hand's length forward, roll the shoulders back, and push up and back into downward facing dog. Gaze up between the hands as we float forward into plank. Exhale, chaturanga, keeping those elbows in. Release, inhale, upward dog or cobra. Rolling back on the feet. Back into down facing dog. Gaze up between the hands as we walk up to the top of the mat. Inhaling, flattening that spine. Exhaling, fold, squeeze the glutes. I'm going to go out of shot now. Inhale, up to standing. Exhaling, body engaged, strong. Inhale, arms up above the head, shoulders down. Gaze up between the hands. Exhale, forward fold, open that chest, dropping the head. Inhale, flatten the spine. Exhale, stepping or jumping back into plank. Now from here, bring this right leg up off the ground, flex that foot. Exhale, chaturanga, keeping that leg up in the air. Release. Inhale, upward dog or cobra, rolling back into downward dog. Inhale, right leg up towards the sky. Exhale that knee towards the chest. Place that foot between the hands. And you're going to come up to standing. So ground that foot and inhale up to standing. And bring those feet parallel to each other. Right, now hands on the hips. And let's turn those toes out. So the toes are now pointing towards the corners of your mat. So around about a 45-degree angle. Hands on the hips. Engage those glutes, particularly here on the outside. Inhale, bring the arms up above the head. And as you exhale, you're going to bring those arms down, palms facing forward, and come down into this goddess squat. Okay, so the chest is open, the shoulders are back, the shoulder blades are flat. At the same time, you're pushing out with those knees. These knees are not rolling in. You're pressing down with the toes. You're engaging these glutes, the glute med here on the outside of the legs, to stop those knees from rolling in. Breathe. Hold. Core tight, so we're not poking that tailbone outwards. Strong, strong squat. Drop the hands, inhale to standing. Let's rotate those feet right and then the left. Come down to the mat. Right foot back to meet the left. Left leg up towards the sky. Exhale, chaturanga, keeping that leg elevated and release. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Rolling back into downward facing dog. Downward facing dog, inhale. Left leg up towards the sky. Exhale, knee to chest. Place that foot between the hands. Ground the back foot. Inhale up to standing. Straighten that front leg. Bring your feet parallel. Okay, walk your feet in slightly. And then face those toes to the outer corners of your mat. So they're a nice 45-degree angle. Standing up nice and straight. Engage the glutes. Inhale. Arms up above the head. And as you exhale, sitting into that squat, chest is open, elbows and shoulders are back. Strong. Strong arms, strong legs. Engaging the glutes. Really engaging the outside of that glute. So it's pulling your knees open. No knees falling in or rocking in. Breathe. Sit. Pressing down with that big toe. Inhale up to standing. Dropping the arms. Rotate on that right foot, then the left. Come down to the mat. Up on those right toes. Left foot back to meet the right. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's flow forward into plank and chaturanga. Elbows in, chest to the ground, release the toes. Stay here. So from the belly now, releasing the toes, rolling the shoulders back and bringing the arms to the side. When we perform this movement, this locust, we're going to keep this core nice and tight. Again, if you're engaging the core, it's going to prevent you from coming up too high, and it's going to look after your lower back. So make sure that core is engaged the entire time. Roll the shoulders back. Feel those shoulder blades flattening against the spine. Inhale. And as you exhale, bring those shoulders and the chest up off the mat, and the legs and the hands. Roll those shoulders back and down. Breathe. So we're really activating all down the back, from the back of the shoulder blades, right the way down through the glutes. The glutes are nice and tight. Legs are active. Now you can see I'm not pointing my toes. We don't point our toes in yoga. So we flex the toes, but the foot is kind of arched. So it's kind of flointing. Mixture between pointing and flexing. The leg is active. Shoulders down. Inhale. Exhale. Back down to the mat. Breathe. Now bring your hands in front of you, pillow one hand on top of the other, and rest the forehead on the back of the hand. Inhale, and as you exhale again, chest comes up off the ground, and do the feet. Engage that abdomen, look after that lower back. You shouldn't feel any pulling through the spine. You should feel those muscles engaged, yes, but you shouldn't feel the spine compressing. Keep those shoulders rolled away from the ears. Don't let them come and hunch up. Breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Release back down to the mat. Take a few breaths. As you breathe nice and deeply into the belly now, feel that lower back rising and falling away from the mat. So we're going to come into an extended locust pose. So bring the hands away from the forehead and extend the arms in front of the body. Palms are facing each other. As always, before we move into the pose, make sure that you are mindful. You're connecting with the breath, you're connecting with the body. Core nice and tight. Inhale. Exhale. Chest and feet up off the ground. Breathe. Shoulders down, shoulder blades flat. Neck is neutral. Tight through those glutes. Legs active. Back active. Breathe. Inhale. Exhale, lower back down to the mat. Take a few breaths. And now let's bring the hands down to the sides and behind the body. We're going to clasp the hands and roll those shoulders back. And now what we're wanting to do as we come up is actually move the hands lower down the body. So really rolling those shoulders backwards. So inhale, nice and tight through the core. Exhale, coming up, rolling those shoulders back. Strong legs, strong core. Breathe. Inhale. Exhale, lower down to the mat. Release the hands and breathe. Nice. So now we're going to prepare to come into Dhanurasana or bow pose. So when we come up into bow, you are doing a lot more extension through the spine. So it's even more important to keep that core tight and to look after. If you're feeling any pinching through the lower back, come out of the pose and rest. So what's important as we come up is to really press the feet into the hands. Keep the shoulders back. Okay, so from the mat, we're going to bend our legs and reach back with our hands. It's a bit tricky. Bring the forehead to the mat. You want to try and get your hands around your ankles if you can. Breathe. Prepare. Inhale, and as you exhale, bring that chest up off the mat, roll the shoulders back, and then really push the feet into the hands. Flex the feet. Push. So feel your quads working here as you're really pushing those legs into the hands. And as you breathe, notice how your body naturally rocks. Inhale. Exhale, lower down to the mat. Release the feet. Let them come back down. Bring your hands forward. Pillow your hands one on top of the other and rest the forehead. Take a few breaths. We're going to transition onto our backs now. So you can simply roll over onto your back, but if you'd like to put a vinyasa in, to create that transition, roll your shoulders back and down, core tight, body tight. Engage the toes. You can either come up onto your knees and then roll back into downward facing dog, or holding yourself nice and tight. Inhale. Exhale, lifting the body up off the mat and rolling back into downward facing dog, bringing the gaze up and then either jumping the feet forward or walking forward, coming down to the mat and back onto the back. Okay, so we're going to do some bridge poses here again, activating the glutes. So we're going to use our block here. So place that block between the legs, whichever position is comfortable and suits your body, and squeeze the legs in toward each other. So what this does, by squeezing the legs towards each other, squeezing that block between the legs, you're activating these adductor muscles. And you're also engaging all these lower abdominal muscles. Your feet are quite close to the body. Okay, so coming into bridge pose, Setu Bandhasana. Inhale. And as you exhale, squeeze those legs in together. Roll up from the base of the spine. So you're squeezing your glutes, all the way up the spine. So you're coming up onto the backs of the shoulders quite high up. Once you're in this position, let's roll those shoulder blades under the body so they're really nice and flat against the mat and the shoulders are open. And then bring the arms down underneath, clasp the hands, and extend the arms along the ground. So you're wanting to push down through the heel. Pushing down through the heel activates that posterior chain. So you'll feel your hamstrings working, your glutes nice and tight, pushing that pelvis up towards the ceiling as high as you can. Breathe. Lots of things happening here. Adductors are functioning. They're firing as you squeeze those knees in towards each other. Glutes are working hard, keeping that pelvis nice and high. Breathe. Heels digging down into the mat. Inhale. Release the hands. Unroll the shoulders. And exhale as you roll down the spine. So one vertebra at a time until eventually you come flat onto your back. Very nice. Take a few breaths here. Inhale. And as you exhale, pushing down through the heel, squeezing those legs together, rolling up from the base of the spine, squeezing the glutes, coming up onto the top of the shoulders. Let's roll those shoulders underneath the body, clasp the hands, and extend the arms along the mat, pushing the mat down with the arms, chest open, glutes really, really working. Breathing, squeezing those knees together. This is hard work. Don't let those hips fall. Inhale. Exhale, let's release the hands, the shoulders, roll down the spine, one vertebra at a time, unfolding and relaxing. Breathe. One more time, pressing down with the heels. Inhale. As you exhale, lifting up from the base of the spine, squeezing those glutes, coming up onto the back of the shoulders, rolling those shoulders under the body, clasping the hands. Pressing down, open chest, high pelvis. Squeeze those glutes, squeeze those knees. Entire body working really, really hard. Breathe. Inhale. Exhale, release the hands and roll the shoulders, rolling down from the top of the spine all the way down through the body. Very nice. So here's another challenge for your bridge pose. If you choose not to do this, just carry on with the simple bringing up and lowering down. Placing the arms flat on the mat now. Pressing down with the heels, inhaling, exhaling as we roll up through the spine, exactly the same as before. Again, roll the shoulders underneath the back, but keep the arms flat. So this is just for a little bit of extra stability. And keep these glutes really tight so that that pelvis doesn't start to fall. It's brought up. At the same time, your abdominals are nice and tight, so we don't have too much pressure here through the lower back. Bring that left leg up to the sky. Make sure that you don't start dropping through that left hip, and bring that foot back to the ground. Right leg up. Again, try and really focus on the pelvis, keeping it nice and level, pressing down through that left heel. Bringing it back down to the mat as you bring the left leg up. So this is almost like a marching bridge. Squeezing through those glutes. Don't forget to breathe. Keep that abdomen nice and tight. So your glutes having to work extra hard in order to keep your hips level. Coming back down, squeezing and rolling those shoulders, lowering down through the spine, one vertebra at a time, coming flat on the mat. Breathe. Rest. So you can bring your legs up off the mat, holders, hands just in front of the knees, and gently circle those knees with both hands. So even though we were holding that abdomen tight and looking after the lower back, it still gets a little bit tight. So let's just be kind to ourselves, give ourselves a little lower back massage, changing direction. And release. And now you can move your feet to the outside edges of your mat and let those knees fall together. What this does is kind of just opens up the back through the sacral area. It's quite a nice release, nice gentle release for that lower back. Breathe and recover. Very nice. So now you're ready to move into your twisting Shavasana if you like. Or if you'd like to do another sequence, you can bring your hands behind your thigh just to help you rock up to sitting. Cross your legs, bring your hands to the mat, jump back into plank, Chaturanga Dandasana, release. Inhale up to dog or cobra, rolling back through the toes into downward facing dog. Gaze up to the top of the mat, step or jump the feet to the top of the mat. Inhale, exhale, fold, squeeze the glutes. Inhale to standing as I disappear again. Exhaling in